That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We've got another Vitaly video up for you. How's he doing? How's my man doing over there in the Philippines? Over there in prison? Hopefully he's doing much better than he was before he went to prison. Hopefully he's in a good mental state. Hopefully he's not absolutely going insane. Hopefully he's not crashing out and getting himself in trouble while he's in prison. I doubt it. Dude is actually a giant pussy. He just pretends that he's not.
This scumbag IRL streamer just got humbled by the Filipino prison system. The dude essentially went from begging to get put into prison to begging to get released in the span of a few months.
Yeah, that's gonna be Johnny Somali pretty soon. When he actually gets sentenced, he's gonna be begging for his release.
I'm not gonna say, oh, don't arrest me, here's the money. I will go to jail. I'm a proud man. I love jail.
Honestly, it's just sad at this point. I feel like everyone with a working brain knows to not to fly to the Philippines and live stream themselves committing a bunch of crimes, but I guess for Vitaly,
This is just like, you know, hot take alert. Maybe just don't commit crimes. Don't crash out and be a fucking idiot in the streets. I mean, you know, it's not that difficult to figure out that that's the thing that you're supposed to do. It's just not go insane.
he had to learn the hard way. Because let's be real, if you did this in the Western world, you would get a slap on the wrist and be out on bail now until you inevitably had to pay some sort of fine or serve a couple months in jail. A little bit of community service maybe, but that's about it. But
Not anymore. We don't do that over here anymore. No, we just let them out. Don't do it again. Then they just do it again and they're like, well, I guess there's nothing we're going to be able to do about this. You're not going to stop and we can't do anything.
clearly, acting like this in the Philippines gives you a whole different set of results. If you don't know, Vitaly is a Russian-American YouTuber and creator who was once one of the largest channels on YouTube and was also one of the pioneers of pranks on the internet. Fast forward a few
Bro, I want to go back to those days. I want to go back to the days where the biggest problem on YouTube was the YouTube pranksters. I feel like we've devolved.
decades, and I guess his extreme poor decision making has just slowly destroyed his life throughout the years, because he's landed in plenty of legal situations, and now he's probably in the worst position he's ever been in because he thought it was a great idea to fly to the Philippines, steal a mall security guard motorcycle, steal a bunch of people's hats, take an industrial fan, an LED mask, and then harass a bunch of people, threaten to rob a woman, and the list just goes on.
And I can understand doing all of that stuff if you were doing that to people that you knew. It's crazy that you go to a different country and do it to people you don't know in a culture that you don't know with laws you don't know. That's fucking insane. It's insanely stupid. It's more than stupid. It's retarded. What's worse than retarded? Because it's more than retarded.
While he was live streaming everything, so the police could just simply watch the footage and go, yeah, no, we're gonna arrest this guy. Just like half the people we cover, he is the star witness against himself. So obviously, things are going terrible for the scumbag influencer who is currently stuck in Filipino jail.
Brain dead. Being brain dead is worse than being retarded. Not that being retarded is a bad thing.
Facing potentially decades in prison, all because of his own terrible actions. With one of the recent updates being that Vitaly was just transferred to jail in the Philippines, meaning he is no longer in the hands of the immigration center and is now definitely facing real prison time. So as you can imagine, this is a pretty big update to the Vitaly saga, the streamer who saw the Philippines as his own personal GTA IRL server. And also what's crazy is, like, even if you're new to the story, you can imagine how this turned out, because from the images released of him recently, you can see that this situation has definitely taken a toll on him. So now he's in the custody of the BJMP. BJMP stands for the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. This is the government agency of the Philippines that's responsible for supervising city district and municipal jails. So in this case, their main job is placement and handling of Vitaly until he's fully charged. So clearly, Vitaly might be figuring out what the hell is
Well, probably. That's probably what he's gonna have to do. He's gonna have to finger somebody to get out, or somebody finger him.
What am I yapping about? Vitaly is living out what might be the biggest find out moment ever seen on the internet. Because I mean, with all this going on with these IRL streamers, I'm starting to think it's like some new meta that I haven't even heard about, nor do I even understand, where we have both Vitaly and Johnny fighting for the title of whoever can spend the most time in a foreign prison. And I guess they're just doing this out of the love of the game.
I think so far Johnny Somali's winning. I think he's gonna do way more time than Vitaly. I almost called him Johnny Somali. They're both Johnny Somali.
Being locked up and for
Might as
you know
well be.
a little bit of online attention. It's kind of crazy to think like another human being can actually relate to his situation. But going back through the timeline, as of June 16th, we've hit this turning point where his transfer away from the immigration detention center to the new jail. And if you recall my previous coverage, the immigration detention center Vitaly was in wasn't exactly the Ritz-Carlton. Apparently, the place that he's in is known as the
Whoa.
Gulag.
That was crazy to see old Vitaly for a second,
Wasn't
or
exactly
younger
the
Vitaly.
Ritz-Carlton. Apparently, the
That haircut though. That haircut.
place that he's in is known as the Gulag.
Now, they call it the Gulag, an immigration detention center in the Philippines that has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Detainees claim the center is squalid, rat-infested, and overcrowded.
Right. Here's some more recent footage.
He's currently locked up in Camp Bagong Diwa, which isn't exactly a wellness retreat.
I can't even begin to imagine how awful that place is. I don't think rodents ever want to be there. I mean, well, actually, they're probably attracted to that area. But still, no human being.
Like, if you thought you were gonna go to jail, if you're not afraid to go to jail, at least do some research on where you could possibly go if you get locked up. Come on.
Would ever want to be there. And that's just the immigration detention center. So what are the jails like? Well, Vitaly's about to experience conditions that make his time in the immigration detention center look like a hotel stay. The Philippines jails, especially places like Manila City Jail and Quezon City Jail, are packed way beyond capacity. The Manila City jail dorms are designed for 170 people, but house around 500. And to put that in perspective,
Damn.
it's the same thing as having a 4-seater car but cramming 12 people in it, which is just absolutely outrageous. 75% of inmates in this jail are pretrial detainees, so Vitaly could be stuck in this hell for months, maybe even years, without a formal conviction. And to make things worse, the average pretrial detention for the Philippines is 9 months, but the backlog here could push this back even further. Oh, and don't forget, he could be facing up to 24 years in prison, meaning he's still got to do the actual time once he's through this process. And that
Yeah, he's not getting that amount of time. There's no way. Just because he's American, he's not gonna get that amount of time. But he's probably gonna get a lot of time.
That's where things get pretty dark, because Vitaly is now exposed to the same brutal conditions responsible for thousands of inmate deaths per year. This isn't just like some symbolic move anymore. This is the Filipino government saying they're not going to tolerate this kind of behavior ever, no matter who you are, which is just another massive reason to say, why would you ever go to the Philippines to make this kind of content ever?
Because he saw other people doing it, and he didn't do any research, and he's retarded. He's more than retarded, actually. He's brain dead.
They're essentially staying firm and making sure that Vitaly doesn't get to wiggle out of this with some legal loophole or public apology attempt or influencer sob story. We've seen his legal team ask for temporary release, promising that he wouldn't leave the national capital region, and they also made promises that Vitaly wouldn't dodge deportation. Essentially, they were like, we promise Vitaly won't commit another federal crime. And it seems like the Bureau of Immigration saw right through that, with the Immigration Commissioner Joel Anthony Villado making a crystal clear statement saying that we will not allow our deportation process to be undermined by publicity tactics or legal maneuverings, which I guess is just like a fancy way of saying, nice try, dude. Like,
You're fucked.
you're staying right where we can see you. I mean, the dude let some awful decisions take him from this like cushy millionaire lifestyle to a literal nightmare. And Villado also said, as we
Dude, this whole situation is absolutely diabolical.
continue to support the Marcos administration's push to a stronger border security and law enforcement, the Bureau will ensure that foreign violators are held accountable, processed swiftly, and removed from the country as warranted. Which essentially means that, hey, you have to go through all the criminal proceedings, serve your time, pay your fines, then we'll get you out of the country. So I guess now he gets to do this perp walk like that basically everywhere he goes instead of just for the media. And to make things worse, it broke pretty recently that Vitaly actually did post bail, but was returned to BI Warden's facility camp in Bagong Diwa. So essentially the dude got spawn camped. He got out, he had that moment of hope, and then he was immediately rearrested. And
Dude, that's just fucking like he can't catch a break. Yeah, hopefully this deters all future streamers from crashing out in public in foreign countries. I'd really rather them not do it in their own country either, but really don't do it in foreign countries. Actually, I want you to do it in foreign countries because you see what happens with people like Vitaly and Johnny Somali. If you're gonna be retarded, you're Fafo, fuck around and find out.
Villado also talked about this, saying that even if Vitaly files for bail, he will still be under custody of BI. So he's pretty much screwed no matter what. And again, this is all because he flew across the world to the Philippines, a country known for taking its laws extremely seriously, and he decided to live stream himself stealing a security guard's motorcycle, swiping police hats, jacking an industrial fan, threatening an elder woman, and then harassing the public for hours, all to farm viewers on Kick.
Yeah, on Kick of all places. Also, I can think of like 1,000 ways that he could have live streamed doing crazy stuff that wouldn't have been illegal, that wouldn't have landed him in jail. Like, go find a fisherman and do like fishing content in the Philippines. Those people are crazy. The Philippines fishermen, those people are fucking insane. That would have been crazy content. That's just one example.
It's just like, yeah, obviously, like, you can feel bad for him, but also when you look at what he did, it's so stupid, and he was so brazen about it that it's like, how did you not realize this was going to happen?
Yeah, excuse me, madam.
I think the drugs that he was on clouded his brain, and he's also not very smart to begin with.
Madam,
Sorry.
I'm gonna rob you if you keep walking away. I want to give you money. No, okay. Okay, because you got a COVID mask, you liberal. Go get your vaccine. I was trying to give you money, but all right. Oh, yes.
Dude, it's so fucking retarded.
And for what? For some viewers on Kick? Like, this
It wasn't even. It wasn't even any viewers on Kick. There wasn't very many. I guess, like, maybe to get the story out, people talk about him. I don't think he was even thinking about that.
dude essentially speed ran, destroying his life for 20 years, essentially, for little to no upside. Like, maybe he made like 10 grand off of that stream, but come on, that is absolutely not worth it. And then, of course,
I don't even think he made 10 grand off that stream. I doubt that. Maybe a grand, but that's not really, even if it was 10 grand, how's that going to cover going to the Philippines? Because it costs quite a bit to go to a foreign country and then stay there. Now it's going to be costing him a lot fucking more.
when he first got arrested, what did he do? He started mocking the system. He dared them to lock him up.
Here's the money. I will go to jail. I'm a proud man. I love jail.
When they brought him in for the mugshots, he was smiling. When they tried to book him, he was making kissing faces at the police cameraman. He was just acting so incredibly arrogant, which is why I think they're throwing the book even harder at him right now. And
Yep, they saw the American trying to be an American, trying to American his way out of it, and America was like, I don't know this guy.
normally, in cases like this, you might expect some sort of quick deportation, send the guy home, get him out of the country, but no, the Philippine government made it very clear they wanted him to answer for his crimes first. And this is even though his legal team tried to say, please guys, we promise he won't be a bad boy and run. But let's be honest, the dude literally spent the whole day taunting the police on camera, so... And sure, while that might be the case, I can see why the Filipino government doesn't want to give him any leeway. Unfortunately for him, that ship sailed before it even left the dock, and this transfer to the BJMP custody, it signals that the government's patience is now gone. So he
said before it even left the dock. That one messed with me for a minute. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. It's because I always hear port instead of dock.
now gets to wear this lovely merch, I guess. What does it even say on that shirt? Changing lives.
Yeah, he's gonna be probably sporting his Philippines jail merch for quite a while.
You can say that, I guess. Wait, what's the full thing? What does it originally say? It says, changing lives, building a safer nation. Oh boy. The streets of the Philippines are now safer without Vitaly roaming around, I guess. What did he do to himself?
Well, they're definitely calmer. I wouldn't say safer. Definitely calmer, because he's not exactly a threat. But he is a moron and very annoying. And nobody likes to be annoyed.
So I guess they have Vitaly locked up with that, a free national mascot. And obviously, just by looking at the photos of him, you can see how much he's changed. Clearly, they're not playing the PR game anymore. No more comfy detention centers. Now he's just living his life in general population jail. And the guy's gonna stay there until he's finished with his court proceedings. And speaking of the courts, as I mentioned in my earlier videos, the Filipino legal system, again, is extremely backlogged. So this is going to take months, maybe even years. We're not talking about a quick resolution here. He could be sitting in that cell for way too long. And the charges he's currently facing is theft, unjust vexation, which is basically the legal term for being an annoying dude. And the rest of his life is literally just hinging on the fact if they decide to charge him for stealing that motorcycle. Because in the Philippines, stealing a motorcycle is an automatic 20-year prison sentence. And that
is a crazy prison sentence. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Because I think they realized that he wasn't actually trying to steal the bike and that he wasn't going to take off with it. He was just being an idiot. And they'll probably get him with some other charge that's like similar to taking something because you're an idiot, not because you're trying to steal it. I could see that. Maybe like a 2-year sentence for just that charge.
This guy live streamed himself doing that. When I talked to a Filipino lawyer, he said to do that, you would have to prove that he had intent to gain. And the lawyer would then say he would argue that the gain from stealing that motorcycle would be for his audience on his stream. So again, his life is literally hinging on the fact if they decide to charge him for that motorcycle theft or not, which is not a position I would ever want to be in my life. Because the sad reality here is Vitaly made his own bed, and not only did he make it, he probably ironed it, fluffed it with all the pillows and everything.
Yeah, man, it sucks to see, but like, you did it to yourself, bro. I don't have anything else to say other than that. I don't really feel sorry for you, especially after seeing all the other people getting in trouble.
I mean, this thing is it's pretty set up, to put it lightly. And I know he used to scream it's just a prank, bro, but that won't fly now. And to make things worse though, apparently his mom got scammed for trying to pay for his legal fees. So according to his
Bro, come on. That sucks. Like, I don't know nothing about his mom. I don't want her to be dragged into all of this bullshit.
mom, she sent crypto to someone claiming to be his lawyer, because nothing says legitimate legal transaction like sending crypto to a random wallet address. And it's just sad because like she's in that generation of people that fall for stupid stuff like that. I feel
Dude, like, yeah, she's not very smart either, apparently. Yeah, I see where he gets it from. Damn.
awful for Vitaly's family, as it's unfair to them that he put them in this situation to begin with. So what's the overall takeaway here?
Well, Vitaly's a giant piece of shit, and he kind of deserves what's coming to him, even though I really don't want him to see all that. I don't want him to go away for life. That sucks. But, like, there's nothing else I can say at this point. Dude's a massive retard.
Well, if you're a creator thinking of pulling this kind of stunt overseas, don't. The idea that you can just roll into someone else's country, disrespect the people, break its laws, and walk away because you're just making content?
Sadly, I think this is going to deter actual good people from going to foreign countries and live streaming, and I think people should do that. I think if people are going to do good with live streaming, then they should go to the other countries, and I think a lot of people now are scared of doing that, and that really sucks. And I think a lot of people out on the streets are just like hate streamers now because of all these situations that keep happening.
Clearly, that doesn't fly. And let's be real, the kicktail probably paid a lot of money alongside of subs, donations, and hype, but was it really worth the potentially facing years behind bars and conditions?
I don't even think that it was that much, but even if it was like $10,000, like, that barely even covers him going there. Maybe he thought he was going to make more money off of this later over time from it making like revenue, but man, fuck, it definitely was not worth it. He probably went broke almost immediately, or at least spent that 10K.
No man or rodent would ever want to be in. And then of course she still has a live stream catalog of evidence to increase that time further. I hope nobody out here would ever want to put themselves in a position like that, because overall this is just extremely avoidable. But I mean,
yep. How long do you think that he should get? How long do you think that he should spend in a Filipino prison? I think a year to 2 years, I think would be all right. I think that'd be fine. Any more than that, I think is too much. Any less than that, I think won't be enough to deter him from doing anything like that again. And he'll just be like, oh, I only got 2 months for all this? Okay. I'll just go to a different country and do the same thing. But if he gets a year to 2 years, then he's probably not going to take that chance. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ding the bell for all the notifications. Also, follow my gaming channel. I got it linked down there in the description.